Welcome back to the Sports Cage, home of local sports in the province. We'll get to more rider stuff coming up here in a bit. It's now time for the Indigenous Sports Spotlight. Kind of twofold this time. It's always brought to you by Fries Tallman Lumber in Regina and Fort Qu'Appelle. There's so much more than lumber. If you're going to the big box stores and you're hunting around for things, go talk to the experts. Fries Tallman in Fort Qu'Appelle or Regina, they'll get you hooked. What if maybe it's a last-minute deck this year, some siding, decking, they can do it all. They have, and if you don't want to do it yourself, they'll find you a contractor. Fries Tallman, supporting the Indigenous Sports Spotlight. This week, we're going to talk to Brent Dodginghorse. Great junior career. Did play some senior in the area as well. And he's going to be in town for the Western Canada Professional Hockey Scouts Foundation as they host their event celebrating Indigenous hockey legends. It's September 30th at the Connexus Arts Center. It's in conjunction with National Truth and Reconciliation Day. A lot of great speakers coming in. Ron DeLorme, the King brothers, John Nasty Marasti, Jordan Tutu, Rich Pilon, Brian Trottier, Dave Tiger Williams, and more to be added later. Brent will be in on that. Like I said, Brent is coming in to speak and be a part of the Western Canada Professional Hockey event, September 30th here in Regina. Brent, it's a great event. It's gaining steam. It's on National Truth and Reconciliation Day, September 30th. For you, as a player, First Nations player that's played a lot of hockey, I'm sure you are still out there. You are, helping grow the game for when it comes to youth on the First Nations side of things.
First of all, thanks for having me. Second of all, this game or this particular organization had reached out to me, I believe, 3 years ago. And because of what it stood for, bringing awareness to the scouts and recognizing Indigenous scouts and kind of the Hall of Famer scouts, the ones that are kind of unrecognized, the ones that do a lot of travel in the winter time, and really they're the guys that go unnoticed in the hockey world. And because a group of guys in Okotoks really kind of led the way there, and there's some well-connected NHL GMs and brass and also scouts that are a part of it, and I just really enjoyed the event. And
yeah.
They really got talking about Indigenous inclusion, and that's how I've been a part of it for 3 years. So I just kind of felt it was the right thing to do, to partner with them and advocate for Indigenous people. And I think it's going to be an opportunity to educate people on TRC and the calls to action, and also a chance to collaborate and partner with non-Indigenous people and teach them about how kind and good our people are. I played in the era in the 90s and 2000s where it was honestly there was no rules, and I can't even use the word right now, but it was tough to play back then. And I have a lot of respect for the older players that went through that, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And there was a lot of trailblazers that blazed a trail for me. And, I was very fortunate to spend some time with some Indigenous NHLers and Sandy McCarthy and Gino Ojic and Theron Fleury, just to name a few, and the Tutu brothers and Sheldon Surrey and Norm Miracle. And, there's a lot of advocates out there that really taught me on how to stick together and always promote your Indigenous pride. And, not only that, but educating non-Indigenous people in Canada, of the 40 million people they're on Indigenous lands on Canada and North America, and the importance of building allyship, because when, the goal is to get the Canadians to be allies with Indigenous people and just move forward together and work together and work as one.
Go back to your days, Brent, and maybe it was that, as a rookie with the Vernon Vipers in 95, 96, where you guys made that magical run to the RBC. Do you remember much about scouts coming up to you when you were younger, and, how did they embrace you as a First Nations player?
There was high-profile athletes in our area. Scott Gomez was drafted out of our league or taken out of our league, and they were watching him. And obviously scouts were always around, and they'd interview players from your team and I think as Indigenous people or people of color, we always knew that we had to work a little harder or keep our image a little more in check. And we always knew at that time that there was there was not a shadow, but there was always that doubt of, they're from the res, or they're from people of color, and there's always that question mark. So I think we always had to work a little harder and, beat that stereotype. I didn't let it bother me because of the love of the game. And fortunately, enough that there was Indigenous scouts in the NHL, and they gave me my opportunity, and also people that knew me from, Western Canada, like, the Sutters and the Sutter brothers gave me an opportunity in Calgary. And I just, it's important to have allies, and it's important to have Indigenous people as representation in the league. And it's come a long ways. Native players that won the cup, and I'm so proud of White Cloud and Carter Bear getting drafted, and all these Tutu making a big statement in the NHL, and all these up-and-coming players that are inspired by the trailblazers that were set. Yeah. Much like the ones that played 20, 30 years ago.
Great. Well, it's going to be an awesome event, Brent. Looking forward to chatting with you more and hearing more about the journey. And I really appreciate you taking some time today.
Anytime, bud. I appreciate it. Take care, and I look forward to chatting with you while I'm in the journey.
That is the Indigenous Sports Spotlight again. Brent Dodginghorse, one of the speakers coming up September 30th here in Regina at the Connexus Arts Center on the Professional Scouts Foundation, and they celebrate Indigenous hockey. It's going to be a great event. Again, some of the names, the DJ and Dwight King for Meadow Lake, John Nasty, Marasti, Jordan Tutu, Rich Pilon, Brian Trottier, Dave Tiger Williams, on and on. For tickets, you can go to the Western Canada Professional Hockey Scouts Foundation webpage. The Indigenous Sports Spotlight is brought to you by Fries Tallman Lumber in Regina and Fort Qu'Appelle. If you're looking to get that fall job in place, go and talk to them. They can help you out if you're a do-it-yourselfer, or if you need someone to do that job. No use going to the big box stores. Fries Tallman Lumber, always supporting Indigenous athletes. It's a SportsCage, the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.